And joining us for more on tonight's topic is Kristen Mazzarella, senior biologist with Mote Marine Sea Turtle Conservation and Research Program. And Kristen, thank you so much for joining us. I guess I'm kind of surprised that we are doing so well in terms of the nests right now, because it was just a couple of months ago when we had all this rough weather and we heard about nests being destroyed. I thought that, it would affect the population.
Yeah, fortunately for us, Tropical Storm Colin hit really early in June, which is pretty early in the nesting season, and we only lost about 350 nests. After that, the turtles just went gangbusters, and basically they continued nesting as they normally would through June, July, and August, and we are up to 4,342 nests as of Saturday.
Right down to the last one. How did we get there? Because obviously, we often talk about how these turtles are endangered, going back years. We were very concerned about that. What did we do right, and how did we do it?
Okay. Well, Mote's Sea Turtle program started about 35 years ago. We protect the nests. We educate the public that live around the nests and come and visit the beaches where the nests are. And so the nests are protected. The hatchlings are able to come out of the nests without being damaged, and then we're trying to educate people so that they can keep their lights off, fill their holes, and take their beach furniture off the beach so that they don't impact the turtles, and that the mamas can lay their nests and the hatchlings can make it out to the water. Those conservationists 35 years ago are the reasons we're getting these numbers.
And you raise a couple of issues there. Just so people understand and know, what impact do the lights on shore have on this whole process?
So the lights on shore are going to mimic the thing that the turtles are looking for to make it to the water. The turtles are looking for the bright white light of the stars or the horizon, and they're basically going away from shadows. So they're supposed to be going away from the shadows of the palm trees and the dunes on the beach and going towards the bright horizon. And if they see lights that are brighter than the horizon, they're going to go that direction instead. They waste a lot of their time and energy doing that, and that way that's less energy that they have to travel to their destination when the hatchling reaches the water. And the mother turtles are going to have trouble too, because they've been on the beach laying eggs for about an hour, so they could be a little bit out of sorts and need to use that instinct of going towards the light.
And how far back from the beach do you have to be concerned about that?
Really anywhere. The people who are beachfront, if any of their lights are seen from the beach, the turtles can probably see them. In addition to that, we have lighting from inland sources, like any uplights that are shining up into the sky are going to create a sky glow, especially on a cloudy night. So a whole nest of hatchlings could go towards sky glow, seeing a glowing horizon behind them, behind the dunes, based on a city or a village or something nearby.
And could you explain what Adam said in his story, where you see the tracks going halfway up the beach and then turning around? What is happening there?
That's when a sea turtle, we call it a false crawl or a non-nesting emergence. Basically, the turtle goes up and she either starts to nest or abandons nesting altogether before even starting to dig a nest. And that usually happens for any number. There's a lot of reasons. She may not be ready. She may be been interfered with. She may have bumped into something that she didn't want to climb over. There's any number of reasons.
How many cases are you aware of where people are messing with the nests, whether it's deliberately or not deliberately, maliciously or not maliciously?
There aren't that many cases that we have, and we have thousands of nests, but most of the time it's people who are well-intentioned and trying to help the nest, digging into a nest that's when we should basically be letting the turtles do their own thing. They've been doing this for millions of years, so they know how it goes, and most of it's instinctual anyway. But a lot of people are really intending to help. The other occasion is usually when people are out on the beach and they might stumble over a nest, which is, in our opinion, somewhat okay, because we'd rather they stumble over a nest because they weren't using a flashlight on the beach and distracting another turtle further down the beach than not. And then, like, knocking down a stake or two isn't going to damage the nest, and we can fix those in the morning.
And we were talking before we went on the air, sometimes when people are messing with the nest, it's for innocent reasons. They see the turtles on the top of the nest and want to help them along to the water. They think that they're doing the turtles a favor, but in fact that they're not. Why is that a bad thing to do?
Yeah, that's a bad thing to do because the hatchlings actually need that crawl. They need the crawl to imprint on the beach so that they know in 25 years when they're mature to come back to that beach and lay their eggs. And also they do it so that they can get their arms and legs stretched out. Their flippers need to stretch out. The blood needs to be flowing to the whole body so that they're ready for that swim. They've got a 6-day swim once they hit the water, and we really want them to be ready and not be surprised by just being dropped into the water.
6 days swim to where?
They swim out to what's called the sargassum, which is a type of seaweed that floats on the surface of the water, and that's kind of the environment that they're looking for. So they swim until they find that seaweed line, and that's where they live for several months to years afterwards, traveling with the current, and that's a home as well as a place to feed because they're camouflaged in there, and they can also find small food sources.
Obviously, the species has really come back, but what concerns do you have, if any, right now?
My biggest concern is to make sure that we can get our lights shut off and the trash out of the oceans. Basically, the lights shutting the lights off or getting them shielded so that the beaches look as natural as possible is going to help us out. We have such a huge year for nesting this year that the conservationists did this 35 years ago. These turtles are old enough, mature enough to come back and lay their eggs, and I want to make sure those hatchlings make it to the water.
What about environmental concerns, whether it's trash on the beach or what's in our water?
Mm-hmm. Trash on the beach and trash in the water or any pollutants in the water are going to affect sea turtles because that's where they spend most of their life. Even the tiniest bit of plastic is going to be ingested by a small hatchling or any other wildlife out in the water. So it's best to pick up off the beaches so that it doesn't get into the water and take care of our waterways.
And finally, how far do we have to go before the season is over and the turtles are on their way?
Well, the nesting season is just about ready to end. It's probably going to end at the end of August or maybe a little bit into September, but we're really slowing down now. But hatching is just about to really explode. Hatching has started. We've had several nests hatch already, and that's going to continue until the end of October.
So what out there, what is there for people to see, or should they be out there and watching it? Because obviously this is a wonderful thing to observe, and obviously kids can learn a lot from it.
We don't encourage people to be out on the beaches at night because you could disturb a nesting turtle without even knowing it. And the lights that you would use to get around on the beach may impact turtles further down the beach. So if people are on the beach at night, to keep their flashlights off or possibly use a red light. We prefer no lights at all. But then the other thing is just keep your distance from the turtles and let them do what they're doing. If you have a problem with sea turtles where you see them going the wrong way for a long distance, then give us a call. You can call the Sea Turtle Hotline or the FWC number that is on the nest signs, the yellow nest signs. And
we'll have to leave it there. Kristen, thank you so much. I think we all learned something tonight.
Thank you so much.
And Kristen, thank you for joining us.